Yeah. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
We the GMS New Orleans camp here to bring you a live camp. Prior to get started, I want to give infinite honors and prayers to
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakakwadash.
the belongings of the apostles and elders of GMS who taught us the truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, which is brothers and sisters in the Hebrew that believe. All right, and for this live camp, we're gonna kick it off. Dealing with pretty much 2/3 of our people, man. All right, because as brothers are familiar with, we had a little test that we had to take this week, and pretty much throughout the scriptures is what this is inspired by. But you constantly see throughout the scriptures of you 2/3 just being niggas, man. All right, and doing things that is definitely unpleasing. You can only imagine, how pissed off the Lord was with you guys at that time. All right, how much more that that the Lord is telling you that He's going to come back and kill 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right, but let's let the scripture speak and kick me off with that Zechariah. Sure.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein.
God, the third should be left therein. All right, so that's 3 parts all together. All right, and that one part of the third, the 1/3, is the hopeful elect. All right, those are the ones that are going to be saved. All right, but the 2/3, all right, those are going to be the ones that's destroyed. All right, they're going to get destroyed. Why? For the unfaithfulness, for not believing in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, not doing what they need to be doing, in the end time. All right, and also paying for that their sins, that they've done in their previous lives, But the Lord is not sparing, none of these people, okay? And you may think that it's wrong in a sense, but, how can you say that against the Lord and you don't pretty much understand, all of the things that these niggas did unto the Lord, all right? Specifically, one of the moments, that reading it pisses you off, that the Sadducees and the Pharisees, that they, was constantly, bringing up debates with the Lord, trying to trap the Lord, in the scriptures. And also when it was time for him to get put on the cross, that they made up lies and bribed people, in order to get the Lord crucified. All right, and that's something that you niggas gonna have to pay for, man. All right, but it's the Lord has that separation for a reason. All right, and get that Romans for me, Brother Kishore, to explain, what I'm saying, that separation.
This is Romans chapter 9 and verse 6. It said, not as though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel.
They are not all Israel that are of Israel. All right. Again, the Lord is constantly making, division of, who he's messing with and who he's not messing with. All right. Who he's dealing with, who he's not dealing with. All right. And again, you niggas that done all these things to the Lord, man, y'all have something that's got to be dropped on your head. All right. And it's going to be the ICBM nuclear missiles. All right. And, even before that, Jacob's trouble. All right. To put you niggas through that these troubling times are something that you truly deserve. All right. But, brothers, got any precepts?
I got some.
You got it.
Oh, no, go. God, this is the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17. It reads, for the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
Con, brothers, get that's not Ezekiel, right?
No, this is 1 Peter.
Somebody get
Ezekiel 9.
Yeah, read that one more time.
God, this book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17. It reads, for the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
God, so first it's going to start at the house of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, okay? What you so-called like Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans according to the scriptures, all right? Which are the true Israelites of the Bible, all right? But again, the Lord is going to start. It starts with from within. You start cleaning your house, and then he's going to go out and destroy everybody else, that is in the crosshairs of, of his destruction, all right? But again, read the last part that it say.
Come. 1 Peter 4, verse 17, let's go back from the top. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, What should the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
What should be the end of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua? Again, even more destruction. All right, and it's deserving, you know, to you niggas, man. You know, and you know whoever else is not part of the being saved, of the salvation, you know, that is coming from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of go a little bit further into that because that house also goes into the church as well, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not only just these other camps that proclaim to know our Lord, but also even Great Millstone, man. The Lord is going to start cracking down on the wicked that's among the no. You see? Then he going to start hitting because everybody else, they going with the world. But he going to get the ones just like the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees, man. You know, they knew the truth. They knew the prophecies, okay? But you got it out.
Get that Ezekiel 96 from Brother Show. Back up, brother. Yeah, you can go straight.
This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women. But come not near come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary.
Begin at my sanctuary. All right. Obviously, this is the time of the Passover. All right, and you know, prior up a couple verses it talks about that mark of exemption, the wa, you know, of that mark that you know you want to be found with. All right, but again, the Lord is not a respecter of persons. Okay, so if you go through that, it says who? Slay utterly who?
Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women.
And you know, off those words alone, you know, you would think that these are probably some of the most innocent. You know, they probably didn't do anything to deserve anything like this. But the Lord says otherwise. All right, the Lord is not sparing anybody who does not have that mark of exemption on their head. All right, doesn't matter if you're old, young, if you're a newborn babe, or whatever. All right, the Lord is starting from within. He's going to start in His house and He's going to clean His house, man. All right, and also too, you know, backing up the brother Kalaya, you know, just because the brothers always say this, just because you have the title GMS on your name doesn't mean that you're going to be saved. All right, because we know that some of the people that has that, you know, that title on them are inwardly being niggas behind the scenes, you know, and doing things that the Lord is not pleased with. All right, and they're just making it by. All right, but the Lord is obviously going to scope them out and get them out of here, you know. Say something?
I got a quick precept to back him up.
Yeah.
While he reads along. This is I'll go straight to the point. This is Colossians chapter 3 and verse 25. It says, "But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he have done, and there is no respect of persons." So you know, backing up what the brother's saying, you know, the Lord's gonna target young people, old people, little children, babies, whatever, you know, tall, short, fat, skinny, doesn't matter, man. The Lord doesn't have a respect of persons, man. If you've been doing wrong things according to the scriptures, you're going to receive wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to receive judgment. You know what I'm saying?
Get Matthew 7 and 21.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Hold on, that's with that one. You know? Kind, you got it.
It's Joel 4 verse 7. Remember, I prayed thee, whoever perished being innocent,
right,
or where the righteous cut off.
You know, whoever perished being innocent, all right, because we ultimately know that, you know, the wages of sin is death, all right. So the only reason why death is even on the earth for, you know, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know, is pure off of a sin, all right, of disobeying Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So if you would think that a newborn baby came out of the womb, you know, and died a couple seconds later, you know, through complications that they may say in a hospital, you know, the Lord has that baby on his list to die. All right, you just can't. It's harsh, but you know the truth is harsh. All right, and you got to understand how the Lord operates. You know, brother, to get that roughly paraphrasing, all matters of death. Well, the Lord concerning all matters of death.
On the back, he was saying, because
I got the issues of death. Yeah, issues is okay.
I want to back that brother because we do understand us brothers and true brothers. We got to pay what we did. than I did when I passed life now. You know what I'm saying? That's why we constantly ask the Lord, forgive us, have mercy on us. We constantly repent daily because we wonder what we did in our past lives. Oh, we could have did all man's of wickedness. You know what I'm saying? And we here today. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we always say we don't know what we did. That's why we ask the Lord to forgive us. You know what I'm saying? We understand death too. Them babies, the kids, they did that's wicked. So they probably did wicked things in the past. Like the Lord found need to put judgment on them. You got it. That's all I'm saying.
Which ain't judgment happens on earth, man.
Right.
Got that? Oh, you got it.
Now, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. And that's literally telling you that, hey, your judgment happens on earth. You don't go into the heavens and be wicked. And somebody can grab that in Job, man. Kind of brother God. You know, hey, all wickedness ceased there. You see? But you got it up.
You bring it up.
Oh, okay. Con, this brother, just get it from me real quick because it's not gonna pick up with the mic. Second Edges 14 and 35. Bible shot.
I say that.
You got?
Yeah,
Yeah, come on, man.
Second Edges 14. Oh yeah, bring it out from me. Bible shot.
The second Ezra 14 to 35. For after death shall judgment come, when we shall live again. And then the names of the righteous be manifested, the works of the ungodly shall be declared.
read it one more time.
This is second Ezra 14, verse 35. For after death shall judgment come.
Stop right there. After that shall judgment come.
Start at 34.
And we know ultimately, you know, of this doctrine that they push of hell. You know, you go into hell, and that's where you receive either your judgment, or you go to heaven and you receive your judgment. We ultimately know that that's false, all right? That's a false doctrine. That's what I'm saying. As you keep reading. Come.
All right?
Start
We shall live again.
Grab 34. Bible shot. Yeah, Bible shot. So
Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your thoughts, reform your heart, ye shall be kept alive. And after death ye shall obtain mercy. Verse 35. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifested, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared.
All right, but again, you know, all of these things dealing with hell and heaven, we know that these are false doctrines, things that are untrue. All right, we know that hell is a condition. All right, heaven is a condition. All right, that place where, you know, we were taught as youngins, you know, of this red devil with the pointy horns and got the pitchfork, you know, sitting down in the fiery depths underneath the earth. You know, that's where you go to if you've been, you know, sinning all your life. Or vice versa, if you're doing everything good, you go up into the white clouds with the white babies and the golden gates, you know, and the stairs that take you there. All right, we ultimately know all of that to be bullshit, man. All right, this is where your judgment plays out. You know, this hellish condition for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans first and foremost. You know, this is where your everything plays out for you of the sins that you have done in your past life.
But yeah, basically read it. It says judgment shall come when we shall live again on earth.
Yep.
So not only it backs up the point that hey, judgment happens on earth, it also it's a reincarnation as well, man. You know?
Yeah. Because reincarnation is definitely, you know, scriptural. All right. It's in the scriptures, you know, all throughout the scriptures. All right. You want to say something?
yeah, if I can make a quick point, because it's like what you started off with when the judgment beginning at our house. You read that Ezekiel 9, and I think the next verse it said, and it began with the ancient. It started with the ancient men, right? Which the ancient men is the elder, all right, or the older men, right? Because it's like the brother said, those that know that they're Israelites, but they did what? They was wicked in their past lives,
right?
You know, the Lord literally brought someone in the truth who was wicked in their past lives, brought him in the truth to be wicked in the truth, just so he could judge them.
Right.
You know, that's that reincarnation coming back and getting that judgment after they live again.
And I think that was me and you, Kalai. We was talking about that, you know, basically how much the Lord really got to hate you you know, to even give you a piece of this. All right, to give you a piece of this and then take it from you last minute.
Yeah.
All right, you know, that's worse than, you know, you being off of not knowing this truth at all. All right, and brothers could get that too. The servant getting beaten with many stripes.
In Luke.
In Matthew.
Precept back in.
Con.
This is Matthew 5 and verse 22. It says, "But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment, and whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire." Right? You know, just backing you up. You know what I'm saying? Going into what? You go into this word hell, right? And the word is, I'll just play it real quick. It's
Strong's G 1067. Gehenna.
Right? And when you read the word for hell in Matthew 5 and 22, it says, "Hell is a place of the future punishment called Gehenna, or Gehenna of fire. This was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where the filth and the dead animals of the city were cast out and burned, a fit symbol of the wicked and their future destruction." Right? So basically, just backing you up, it's not, you know, an underground place. You know what I'm saying? You got a giant red guy. He got horns, slit eyes, a tail, and a pitchfork. You know, poking people and tormenting them. You know.
Brother can get on deck too if not holding Jonah. Yeah. Get that account real quick. You know. But Con. We gonna come down the line with it. Let's get that Jonah first, and then we gonna shoot through.
This is the book of Jonah, chapter 2. I'll start at the top, verse 1. It says, "Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord Yahweh his power out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice."
You know, so Jonah, you know, describes himself being in the belly of hell, all right, being in a large fish, all right, and obviously that's not a place where no man wants to be, you know, neither does any one of us want to be in captivity underneath these devils, all right, you know, it's too crazy, you know, the way you describe it might seem like two different things, but it's still a hellish condition. All right, slavery is a hellish condition. You know, going through all of this wickedness and dealing with these devils and all of these heathens that lord over us. You know, this is hell, man. All right, and it's nowhere else to describe it.
Right, the scriptures tell you that the rich sit in a low place. That's the hell condition, man. You know what I'm saying? That the people are being what? They're being oppressed, man. This is the torment. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if you know, basically you endure, you know, through the spirit and power Yahweh Shema Shah, you know, you maybe if you're elected or part of the number, you'll receive the penny, you know, the kingdom of heaven, man.
Yeah, that word right there, in that Jonah is Shaol, man. Right? I think it's H7585, and it just goes into grave or pit, man. You know, a low estate. That's simply what it is. Well,
Get that. I was about to tell you get that.
This is like debunking that hell doctrine. This is Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai who gave it.
You know, and ultimately, you know, one of the beautiful illustrations that the Lord, you know, places here for us is that everything here is a cycle. Okay, so when something dies, it goes into the spirit world and it recycles its way back onto the earth. All right, you know, playing out the judgment of whatever was done beforehand. All right, just like how, you know, the rains and I believe it says that at the beginning it goes through like the whole entire list on Ecclesiastes 1.
Yeah, I'm on it. Right?
Oh, you on it?
Yeah, kind of. This is I'm gonna go kind of straight to the point.
Yeah.
This is Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 9. It says, "The thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun.
There's no new thing under the sun. All right. So all of these things, is playing over again, through different timelines that you may say, but it's the same spirits that's constantly, here on the earth playing things out.
Got some more. It says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us.
And everything, that the Lord is placing out here, all of these, the way that these niggas act, the way that these heathen act, you can clearly, if you do your homework, you could go through history and see that, all right, you can see that the spirit of this guy is similar to him, and this is 40, 50 years apart, all right? So it's not like it's going to be something entirely brand new that has never been seen before. The Lord is planning it again.
Right, the Lord's basically just working in cycles, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how the generations of people come in, man. You know what I'm saying? I believe even in the book of the law, he said he reserved the judgment to the third or fourth generation, which shows you that you got it. Go ahead. Unless you want to.
Yeah, either or. I had it in numbers, but that was good too. Go ahead. Yeah.
Look, Exodus 34, verse 7 reads, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty,
right,
visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the third and to the fourth generation.
So that's explaining to you, when pretty much that you come back into the earth, okay, after the third and fourth generation, all right, and you will hear older, your aunts, your uncles and stuff, seeing their little nieces or your children or so, and they'd say like, man, you could tell that this child probably already been here before. They act so grown, they act so this and that and the third, and it's because they have. All right.
I got a little bit more on that.
Come on.
This is our last verse. This is Ecclesiastes 1:11. It says, there is no remembrance of former things,
right,
neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after.
And that's beautiful too. Again, I don't know, neither one of us know exactly who we were, those 3 to 4 generations ago. All right. The thing is that, throughout, again, that I mentioned earlier, if you have the history and see things kind of, painted out, you could probably get a hint, just like how brothers, describing who John the Baptist was, in this modern time. It's certain things that we could kind of point out for certain people, with the things of how they're operating, the movements that they have done. But knowing exactly who you are, that's the knowledge that the Lord hasn't given us,
Right, and basically, that's why, when we read the scriptures, we see that basically the prophet saying, hey, man, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, like John the Baptist, like, man, I ain't nobody. What you asking me for?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But not, understanding who he was in the spirit, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But they knew. The point is they had the knowledge back then to know that reincarnation or regeneration is real, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So in plain sense, Daniel doesn't know, we know Daniel is here. All right. But where is Daniel exactly? We don't know. All right. But we know that the Lord said that brothers could get that too, standing in your lots.
Yeah.
We know that the prophets are out and about, Come on. Let's get some.
You brought that Psalms out? The 6? 6 and 5? To tell you there's no remembrance of your former self?
You said Psalms?
Yeah. What you read? You just read that though, right?
Yeah, he read that in Ecclesiastes.
Okay. Yeah. It's in Psalms too, bro. Just asking. So like it.
Yeah, he just brought that out.
And the Lord do that to hide pride from men, right? And to not bug you out. Right. Imagine understanding that you was a prophet and you died in some horrific way. Mm-hmm. Right, man, that'll bug you out. Remembering in the times of slavery, okay? Mm-hmm. Different things that happen of that nature. So the law hides those things from men, man. Mm-hmm. We had a quick one too with that Ecclesiastes. You still got that queued up?
Yeah.
3 and 20 and 21.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 20, it says, all go into one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again.
So all go to one place. What is that one place? That's the spirit world. Okay. And I think that's what you call that out in Job. What
I was
that,
holding
Yeah, Goliath. Yeah.
get that to back up what I'm about to say. You know, in the spirit world, you know, which we ultimately know, you know, that's where it's peaceful up there. All right. The only way that you can possibly describe it to our knowledge is when you're sleeping and you having no dreams and it's just a pure, you know, just darkness, you know, until you open your eyes again. All right. But that's the closest that, you know, Jake, and that's speaking as a man. You know, we don't know truly exactly how, you know, to the specifics of how the spirit world is, but we know again that it's peaceful up there, you know.
Yeah, and even Paul said when he basically was translated into the spirit realm, that he couldn't even utter words to describe it. You know, that's how captivating it was. Because you got to remember, you're returning back unto the Lord.
Right.
Right. It says all souls go upward, right, to the heavens, man. You know, he literally couldn't describe how it was. But they got one more verse too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 21, it says, who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth.
You know, and it just doesn't make sense. All right. The Lord has his operation simple, and that's what a lot of people they tried to go way into. You know, me and the brother went into the lesson. You know, things above your pay grade. Just the thought process of thinking how the Lord operate things. All right. And the Lord just telling you plainly, man, when you die, you go to the spirit world, you're going to come back in some type of other generation. Plain and simple.
And I want to say this too, because this specific scripture can destroy a Christian's thought of being reborn as a fucking animal, right? As a dog, as a bird. A lot of people have so-called testimony videos saying that, oh, my son died and there was this bird that just came sit, you know, and that's not true, man. You don't get reincarnated into your favorite animal. You see, it literally tells you that man's spirit goes up and beast spirit go what? Back down to the earth. Because what? An animal don't get judged. What is the purpose for the animal going to get his judgment in the heavens? You don't have a purpose to do that. So when an animal dies, his spirit goes back into whatever respective family, right? You know, genealogy it have. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, goes into what? The difference between man, beast, fish, and things of that nature. They don't share the same souls, man.
Right.
You know?
You know, and that it just goes back into, you know, the wickedness, the wicked doctrine that this devil has been pushing on us, man. You know, 1 in 2 Peter 1:16. Yeah, and you know, just small stupid things like, you know, what they call it from evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
a precept that goes along.
Con. Yeah, we could debunk that stupid shit too.
And I got that joke too for you.
Con. You know, but it's like, get that real quick and lose my train of thought.
No, it's okay. This is 2 Peter 1 and verse 16. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahushua Hamashiach, but we were eyewitnesses of his majesty.
You know, so we don't believe into these fables and this bullshit, again, that, you know, specifically coming from Esau Edom, of stupid things of evolution, where a cell turned into a fish, and a fish started taking laps to try to get air, and then all of a sudden it became a lizard to get on water, and that lizard somehow turned into a monkey, which became a man. You know, it's just completely idiotic. You know,
bullshit,
people to believe that it shows, you know, your thought process. All right.
Yeah. This is just real quick. This is 1 Timothy 6 and verse 20. It says, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings of oppositions of science, falsely so called. Right, which goes into what you were just talking about, right? Which science basically just means to know. you know what I'm saying, that Esau Edom's, wisdom is just BS, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got people, you know what I'm saying, taking a DNA heritage, you know what I'm saying, to trying to find out who they're linked to. You know what I'm saying? He got people believing they come from dogs,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, with part monkey. It's just all over the place, man. It's unprofitable and it's vanity, man.
Right. And one of the things that we, I question as a child growing up, and they always going to try to find some type of bullshit answer to give you. All right, if we come from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? All right, why is it still different, groups of apes? And what they're going to tell you, oh, because it's a primate, and it just goes into your cells and this and your chromosomes, and it's like, bro, that's confusion. That's complete confusion. And again, like I said earlier, man, the Lord made all of these things simple and plain. All right, it doesn't have to be that exotic, just to try to prove a point. But we see what these devils do and how they try to exalt themselves of being the Most High. They claim themselves to have all the knowledge, and it's really just trying to push away, the thoughts of the righteous, the everything that the Lord ordained for us to be good.
Right. Basically, they're the only people really that claims to be God and claim that there is no God.
Right.
And that's why the Lord is going to have such a heavy judgment on them. You know what I'm saying? Because you're tailor made on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like you're really putting yourself out there to be. Because when you think about it, you really don't see an Asian Yahweh shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You see a Edomite Yahweh shot. Right. You know what I'm saying? So his judgment is going to be very harsh, man, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah, we're gonna get you after.
And I just want to say this too, because these devils believe in something called pseudoscience,
right?
Which pseudo literally means false. Okay, and this brother, he just gave a beautiful understanding on what science is. Okay, just means to know. So it's literally false knowledge. Literally, false knowledge. You have people like Charles Darwin, all right, going into Darwinism. Okay, these different people come up with these philosophies, and they take the simple topics as we're speaking on, right? And they turn it into wickedness, man.
You got to back you up too. Everything that they go in and what they name their theories is pretty much just going into guesses. Right? They took a wild ass guess, and it's definitely wild, and tried to make it a fact,
a hypothesis. Educated guess.
Right.
Yeah, a theory basically, you know what I'm saying, is basically an untrue statement. It's somebody's thought process of what they believe thought to happen.
Right.
And that's it. And all it does is so-called backed up by evidence.
Right.
Oh, we had this study and that study. How you even know the guy even did the study in the first place? Right. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could say, well, I experimented on this amount of rats and this amount of monkeys. How do you even know? You wasn't there to experience it.
Right.
He could write down anything.
Yeah, I had a precept, but I had that word theory too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this that word theory is just the Google definition. The definition. It says a supposition or a system of ideas intended to explain something, especially one based on general principles, independent of the thing to be explained. It says when they have synonyms, hypothesis, thesis. It also says a set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based, an idea used to account for a situation or justify a course of action. And basically, it's just ideas.
Right. No facts.
And it's not facts. So these ideas are just based off of human perception. It's not based off of scriptures, the knowledge and wisdom of the Most High.
Right. That's fair, because I was looking at that same word in the etymology, and it says a spectacle to consider, or to look at, or speculation.
Yeah.
So you just speculating, man.
It's an observation of what they believe happens throughout the course of time.
Yeah.
And that's the knowledge of the people today, man. That's why the Lord said He's going to kill the people for obtaining that knowledge, man.
Yep.
He also said a mental scheme.
A mental scheme. And we know who the genius at mental schemes, man.
His heart is deep.
His heart is deep.
Wiser than Daniel.
Yes, brother.
I got you.
You got it. Where?
It's
Oh no, it's like noise to happen.
This is This is going into the evolution and shit too.
Uh.
This 1 Corinthians 15 and 38. It says, "But the Most High give it a body, as it had pleased him, and to every seed his own body." All right, verse 39. It says, "All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds." So that cuts the whole theory of evolution, because there's no intermingling. You don't start off as one thing, a single cell organism, and then you turn into a roach, and then you turn into some kind of water lizard, and then you turn into a Komodo dragon, and then an ape, and then so on and so forth. It don't work like that, man.
Right. Again, we know that, through the scriptures is plain, man. All right, it's plain, and we ultimately know that the Lord is not an author of confusion. So nothing in the scriptures is meant to cause, chaos like that. That could lead to some bullshit. The thing that, for me to think in my head that, man, before all of this happened, I was a fish. Like, bro, it doesn't make sense. The Lord separates all of these things for a reason, just for knowledge's sake. All right, to have that wisdom and knowledge and understanding. All right, to know, the former things, so I can get what I just told you, Isaiah. So I was just about to quote it.
Is Isaiah 48 verse 3. "I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them. I did them suddenly, and they came to pass."
God, and again, it's from Genesis, to Revelations. All right, it's everything that the Lord, either created, or He's giving you the background story of something that's happening, or giving you, a pretty much prophecy. Things told before time, and things are coming to pass. And it all stands true. All right, you could go through the scriptures, and you could go through a checklist of what's going on in the world and see, okay, this happened, and plain and simple. All right, but it's nothing that coming from the wicked, knowledge that this devil has that holds weight into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures that comes from the Holy Spirit of the Lord.
Yeah, and just to back you up, man, Esau gives you a interpretation of what the scriptures are, which is completely false. But then he goes and turns and have people study the Bible with eschatology and say, man, look, go to every single site that's been mentioned in the Bible, excavate, and we're going to study this to see whether it's true. And all them sites are what? It's heavily guarded. You can't get there. You know what I'm saying? He's basically saying, hey, look, the things that are written within the scriptures are true.
Right. Learn.
Okay. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 19. It says, "For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness."
The wisdom. Read that first part again. The wisdom.
Verse 19 again. It says, "For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High."
And it's complete foolish, man. Like, this is a lot of this stuff shouldn't even be coming out of people's mouths, to tell the truth. And we understand, why the place, along with just the wickedness that y'all do, but just the thought process, the thought process and the way that people think, that's something that it took, Jake time to see that, just people thought process really just piss you off. All right, so how much more the Lord,
I want to say something too, because it said in that last portion of that, it said he taketh the wise in his own craftiness. So this devil has been lying and lying and lying, all the way unto the point where, like, he can't lie anymore.
Right.
And then also in Revelation, the 12th chapter, it tell you that the earth helped the woman, okay, which is going into Israel, you see, and what that goes into is basically the artifacts, all right, different like you mentioned, different sites, biblical sites, right? These things prove that the scriptures are real, man. All right, what it is, Lost Lunar Stone, you see things of that nature showing that the Hebrews, that the northern tribe were actually here in the Americas. You see different things of that nature actually help push forward this truth, man. So the Lord literally caught up the wicked in his craftiness, man.
Yeah.
You got it, Bayan. Slack it.
Get that real quick. Psalms.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
Straight from the womb, speaking lies, man. All right, it's not an upright bone in their body for them to tell the truth. They have no reason to tell the truth. All right, because everything that they are doing is I can't think of the word, but it's contrary. Yeah, contrary of us. You know, of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, that is our enemy. So why would your enemy ever tell you the truth? You know, if their whole goal is to destroy you. All right, it goes back into the time of Genesis where Esau said in his heart that he was going to slay his brother Jacob. All right, you think that energy changed at any point in time? No, he still has that on his mind. The Lord has put that on his mind. Is going to keep that on his mind. You know, for him to try to execute that to his best of ability. You know, and ultimately for the Lord to just come back and just wipe out his plans of everything and coming to save the day. You know, and giving glory to himself afterwards. You know. Want to say something?
Yeah, if I could see, when you had the account with Esdras and who it was Uriel, and he was basically telling him like, he gave him some questions to answer, like, can you tell me, can you wait fire, and can you do this, can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
So, bro, if we can't even perceive some of the things that we live with, like these is everyday things we could see with our eyes. You mean to tell me these people could go down and say evolution and we came from, bro? That don't even make sense at all. No kind of sense.
Right.
You want to say something?
Just that whole dinosaur thing, like you just said. How you gonna tell me what happened 30 billion years ago? Like how can you tell me what happened then? Gasoline was just non-renewable resources, which was just the blood in the bodies of dinosaurs, and that's just going to him speaking lies, man. In the better one.
Got some real quick. Kyle. Get this real quick.
17:5.
17:5. Well, it might be 4.
Put this bit on flesh.
Yeah.
What you want 5? The operations.
Yeah, that's the point of 5. Start
Okay.
at 4 though.
All right, this is Sirach 17 and verse 4, and it says, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him 3. Verse 3, it says, he endued them with strength by themselves and made them according to his image, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls.
Let me get that part real quick. Being made in this image, being made in the image of Yahweh Bashim Shai, we having that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The senses that we have, to operate on this earth. Okay, and that's what separates us, furthermore away from, these animals and so on and so forth. But continue on.
Verse 5, it says, they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord, and in the 6th place he imparted them understanding, and in the 7th speech, an interpreter of the cogitations thereof.
And the cognition just pretty much goes into being able to go into deep thought. Okay, so we have speech. What else it says? Speech, thought.
It says speech, the interpreter of the cogitations thereof. Understanding.
Understanding. Understanding. All right, and the cognition thereof. All right, those are the 2 that separates us from the beast. All right, and that's just plain and simple, man. The rest of the senses that we have are similar to them. Which is what? Touch, smell, taste, hearing, sight. And sight. Yeah, those are the 5 senses that we all have. If every animal don't have that, it still might be some similar things. But one thing that they don't have is those last 2, that's 6 and 7, the understanding and the speech. But who said they had something?
He had some. Yeah, he had them.
I mean, come on. Okay.
I mean, it's kind of going into. I mean, I'll say it out there. This is Romans 11:33.
Mhm.
It says, "For the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High, how unsearchable are His judgments and His ways past finding out. For who had known the mind of the Lord, or who had been His counselor?"
Who has known the mind of the Lord? You know, and the answer to that is really nobody, man. You know, we don't even seek those things. And brother could get that too. Seek not the things too hard for you come. You know, that's just something that's going to completely just bug you out at the end of the day, man. Like that. Keeping it simple is the easiest thing and the best thing for you to do, to receive your crown, bro. Like you can't make it too hard, harder than what it actually is. All right, we go through enough things down here with this flesh, with the people that surround us, and it doesn't make sense to bug yourself out even more, just seeking these crazy thoughts, trying to understand and get on the Lord's level. All right, that's not your place, you know.
See, the Lord tell you, my thoughts are not your thoughts.
I'm holding that.
I got one.
Yeah, grab it.
You can bring it out.
Yeah,
I was holding that.
Where we get it?
Let's throw 'em up.
Just bring it out, brother.
All right,
God damn.
This is Isaiah 55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord.
My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, man. And that's plain and simple.
Start up one, I believe. Start at 7.
Yeah, it's Isaiah 55, verse 7. Let the wicked forsake
Oh,
his way.
Salaki, you're right. Keep going. Keep going. And it was, yeah, you gotta go down.
I'm
Salaki.
gonna just restart at 8 again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Isaiah 55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord Yahweh. Verse 9. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
So the Lord's ways is higher than our ways. His thoughts is higher than our thoughts. All right, and that's plain and simple. Only this devil is the only person that is trying to exalt himself to claim that he has even more wisdom than Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, and it's just completely idiotic. All right, know your place. All right, that's where really what it comes to. Know your place, and we know our place of the hierarchy of dealing with the Lord. All right, knowing that Yahweh Shai is above us, and that above Yahweh Shai is Yahweh, and even Yahweh Shai is going to acknowledge these things. All right, there's somebody above me. All right, but again, just having those vain, stupid thoughts, man, it's not going to get you nowhere. All right, except for just bugging you out even more.
Precept bracket up there, brothers. This is Isaiah 40 and verse 12. He's talking about the Lord. It says, "Who have measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance." Verse 13. "Who have directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor, who have taught him?" Right? So just going into what? The power of the Lord, man. Right? The previous scripture went into all the things the Lord has done. And man can't even begin to fathom how to even start to do those things. You know what I'm saying? They say, who counseled him? Nobody. Nobody's ever going to counsel him. Right? He's the Lord. And he's there sitting on the throne for a reason, man. It said the scriptures tell you that his spirit filled the heavens, man. The earth, everywhere.
How can you question, a power whose name translates to "He is"? Right? He is. You can put whatever you want behind it. He is. And you're gonna try to question, of how He operates and how He create things. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Right. And what is he, man? He is everything, man. He's in everything, around everything. He's everywhere, man.
Right.
I got a little bit more.
Go ahead.
It says, verse 14, it says, "With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him? and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding? The answer is nobody, and nobody's ever going to do it, right? That's why it is, we brought up the scripture earlier. It says, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways my ways. You know what I'm saying? Your thought process is as if it was a grain of a sand to the Lord, man. You know?
You got it,
I was going to start from 1 to 6.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Sirach chapter 18, verse 1. He that liveth forever created all things in general. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he. Verse 3. Who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all. By his power dividing holy things among them profane.
Right, and it said what? It said govern, man. And what does govern mean? It means control, man. It means so he's in control of everything.
So like, you go down. Read it one more time. Yeah, start from the beginning, and I'm gonna tell you.
This is Sirach chapter 18, verse 1. He that liveth forever created all things in general.
Plain. Go ahead.
Verse 2. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he. Verse 3. Who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all. By his power dividing holy things among them for profane.
So obeying his will, and read that profane to the...
Obey his will, for he is the king of all. By his power dividing holy things among them from profane.
Dividing the holy things from the pro. It's like, damn, you getting me. Read it one more time.
Who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all. By his power dividing holy things among them for profane.
You know, dividing, you know, pretty much, you know, which we started it off with, of the Lord having that division for a reason. All right, because you need to know, you know, in the balance of the Lord, first and foremost, that it's a right way to operate things. All right, so it's going to be a right way to do things. It's going to be a wrong way to do things, and the Lord is going to put those examples, you know, plainly in front of you. All right, and that's for us to be able to discern. All right, and know not to go in a way of, you know, these profane thoughts. You know, these stupid things that these heathen are doing. All right, because again, we could go through the accounts through our history and seeing that if we ever try to do anything like the heathen, we fell, you know, behind that of forsaking the Lord. You know, want to go chase other guys, want to go chase other things that these heathen was doing. You know, which makes no sense.
This is Hosea 4 and verse 6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no more to me, seeing thou shalt be no more priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children.
God, you forget these law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord has given to you and to you only. You know, of all of the families and nations of the earth, the Lord, you know, chose you to give you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but you choose to forsake it and follow Buddhism, you know, and you know, all these other false doctrines and religions, and so, you know, all of these things that's telling you about what it is with the who do the reincarnation? Isn't that part of Buddhism? Yeah. Hinduism. Yeah. You know, all of these things. It's just stupid, man. All right, but again, it tells you at the beginning that people. Read it one more time from the beginning.
Verse Hosea 4 and 6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
That's it right there. People are destroyed for lack of knowledge, man. So not seeking these things, not seeking this wisdom. All right, it's ultimately just going to get you killed at the end of the day, man. Plain and simple.
Right, and this is the knowledge they need to seek, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They need to turn back to their power, okay? You know what I'm saying? Not being into what we talked about earlier, the vain babblings, right? And avoid science, man. You know, that's what's going to destroy you at the end of the day. Esau science, it's witchcraft, it's technology, okay? Those things are going to, you know, destroy our people, man. Come back to the Lord.
Get that up for me real quick, Molly.
Come on.
This is Sirach 3:21. It says, "Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength." You got more too.
God, you know, need to seek the things above thy strength. All right. We know where we operate. We know the things that we can't understand. So just roll with that, man. You know, don't stop trying to be extra, Jake. You know, being extra and being complicated is not going to make the kingdom come any faster. You know, having that wisdom, that extra wisdom and knowledge. Like the brother said, that shit pretty much is going to bug you out. All right. Imagine if you did have that knowledge, how the brother said, of knowing how you die, knowing when you're going to die, knowing exactly what number of the elect that you are. All right. These things is going to uplift you with pride. It's probably going to have you in a crazy woe is me spirit of figuring out some things and ultimately destroy you at the end. All right. Which the Lord is doing you a big favor of keeping you away from these things. So don't try to seek it. You know?
I got more. Verse 22. It says, "But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence, for it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are secret."
It is not needful for eyes to say that last part again.
It says, "For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret."
You don't need to pay attention to that. All right, just keep it simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, that's it.
It says, verse 23, "Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand."
Just the things that the Lord has given us now. All right, to be able to go through the book of Revelation and have our elders and apostles teach these things, man, to see what's going on. For us to understand what actually happened at the beginning in Genesis chapter 1, verse, chapter 1, 2, and 3 of how the earth was created and how everything was brought out. Knowing the depths of it, that it wasn't just Adam, Adam and Eve, butt ass naked with leaves, covering them up. We have truly been blessed, of the Lord leaving us with that comforter, leaving us with the Holy Spirit to have the unction to know these things that we are out here teaching and preaching about, man.
I just want to add on to what you were saying. When you look at most of the jakes that was in the truth, you know what I'm saying, and did get bugged out, they all had a deep demon on them. You know what I'm saying? Or they thought that they knew something or can explain something different from the elders and apostles, man. That's why you need to stay within the doctrine, man. Stay within the things that you were taught since you began this truth, right? As you walked as a young one,
And if I could back you up even further, brother, it came a thing that brothers coming into the truth, which is crazy enough. If brothers is still in the truth and have this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and still seeking deeper shit to be woke, that's ridiculous, because being woke is not a compliment. All right, to be woke of coming into the truth, brothers was. If you hear like how brothers was questioning a lot of things in the earth before coming to the truth, you'll be like, all right, yeah, brother, that was some bugged out ass shit, brother. But brothers, was seeking the true knowledge and wisdom and understanding. All right, but when it goes back, what's they got the stupid shit like the reptilians and
the
Anunnaki, yeah, the giants, and all of these things that it eventually led brothers to the truth, which is beautiful how the Lord allowed the Spirit to start you bugged out right there, but then guide you to the truth. But again, it's not a compliment to even try to search those things like that. It's pretty much insulting yourself and insulting the Lord.
Basically, the Lord kept Jake with being open-minded to a certain degree.
Right.
There's certain people, when they learn things, they just stay within the things they learn. They're not going to deviate from it. Right. They get sealed within the doctrines and philosophies that they're taught. But by some of the elect, the way they were woken up to was just saying, hey, okay, I'm willing to hear you out. Explain to me how Yahweh Shai is black or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they break it all down to them, and then what? The Spirit comes on them, and it all makes sense.
God. And you brought it out in Hosea, people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. All right? And little do you know, of all of these things of being woke and trying to understand these things, the scriptures has the answers to it. All right, it's going to debunk all of these stupid thoughts that you may have about, you know, the reptilians and everything else, the Anunnaki, the giants, the angels, the virgin birth, you know, all of these things that people just don't truly understand. But the scripture is going to break it down. You got it, brother. Come on. You want to say something?
Yeah. No, I have.
Okay.
This is Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
And further by these, my son,
Yep.
be admonished of making many books.
Yep.
There is no end. And much study is a weariness of the flesh.
You know, much study is weary to the flesh. All right. The way that we operate, you know, how we live, man. You know, Jake can't really heap in too much knowledge. All right. Even with simple things of brothers watching videos. Okay. You watching a video of a brother. Hey, if you watching 10 to 20 videos a day, brothers will tell you, bro, you bugged out, bro. Like you gaining, you're trying to get too much information, and I'm more than sure that none of these videos, you know, led to each other. It was probably different topics all over the place. All right, but read what it said at the beginning.
If I can make a quick point, if you watching 20 videos every day, you bugged out, man.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But if you watching 20, listen, max should be 4 or 5 videos, brother.
Right.
Because you got some brothers that go into videos for an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. That's enough in itself.
Right.
You don't even give your brain time to retain the information and break the information that's coming out and matching it up with the scriptures, man. Right. You know, Jake be tripping, you know, just being over much study. Yeah. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, if I could say too, you know, I remember, you know, my time at the beginning of coming into the truth, you know, and it made sense of what the elder said. You know, sometimes it'll take for like a 20-30 minute video, it might take you a week to get through that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're actually, you know, breaking it down. And that made sense to me because, again, you know, even though the way I was doing it was kind of bugged out, you know, I used to put the subtitles on a video and literally write word for word
everything
of the entire video. Yes, brother. I used to do that, bro. But again, that stuff used to make me, it used to take me about a week and a half just to get through like a 10-15 minute video. But I got the whole entire video in my notebook, bro. But, you know, then again, you get to it now that you starting to get to understand that you know what you need to take out of it. You know how, you know, you need to study and, you know, gain, you know, the understanding of what's going on, you know? But don't overdo it. You know, we still in the flesh, man. So that flesh is weak, you know? Knowing that the flesh is weak is knowing that you have to, you know, take things as smoothly as possible for you to be able to digest. Yeah, to digest the scriptures, the food, you know?
Like, you don't do it, you gonna vomit it up, man.
Yeah.
You gonna forget everything you just watched. You don't get your mind. It's like that for anything. You can have you want to say something?
Go ahead.
You can have you could just be studying a lesson, man. You just got it. You say, I'm gonna remember everything instantly. And you go over it 1,000,001 times, and you move somewhere else, and then you know, do another lesson and another lesson and another lesson. And you'll come to find out when you start to get questioned on that lesson, even though you went over it a bunch of times, you might forget something. Right. You know what I'm saying? You got a precept?
Yeah, I got a precept back. What you saying? Go ahead. It's Proverbs 25, verse 16. As thou found honey, eat so much as sufficient for thee, right, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited.
Yes. So again, if you were to eat anything in abundance, or you know, eat it too quickly where you can't, you know, digest it fully, you know, you're going to throw it up. All right. And you know, ultimately, you know, the scriptures is described as that, you know, eating the roll, you know, getting the understanding, you know, understanding the sweetness and the bitterness of the scriptures. All right. But again, if you try to swallow these things in understanding sake, all right, which the stomach goes back into your mind, the way that you can understand this, all right, you can throw all of that information up by just doing too much. All right, don't do too much.
If I can say right fast, that's just like when you eating something or drinking something that's real cold, and you just eating it or consuming it at like a large amount at one time, which you get a brain freeze.
Yep.
that's just like your brain crashing because it's been overloaded with too much of something.
Yeah, stomach will crush,
Exactly.
Right.
Because when you eat too much, what happens?
Throw up.
You
keep
throw up.
bloated.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
And that's pretty much it. Even with water, anything. If you drinking water, you feel that feeling that you can't breathe after a while because you're just sitting there just drinking water. But you can actually get into some deep water and drown by not being able to obtain all that water. All right, but even if same thing with pretty much anything, food, water, shit, bro. If you just take too much of that shit, man, you're gonna throw all that shit up, regardless of what it is.
And now look at the young princes now, man. You know what I'm saying? Because what do the scriptures tell you? It basically tell you the belly devours all meat. So over the course of time, the Lord is going to build you up to get to the point where you can start to learn things and it be all over the place, but it'll come in portions that's sufficient for you. You know what I'm saying? And not just the scriptures, but other things, history, documentation that also goes with the scriptures too as well, man.
You got that Sirach 36 with the belly devoured meats?
Yeah, I was gonna get it. Yeah, I got it. This is
Go ahead, get that.
This is Sirach 36 and verse 18. It says, "The belly devoureth all meats, yet is one meat better than another. As the palate tasted diverse kinds of venison, so doeth an heart of understanding false speeches."
The heart understanding false speeches. All right. So it mentioned the belly and the heart, which ultimately goes back into your mind. All right. So you're digesting these and you're able to understand, certain things. But it can help you decipher between the right shit and the bullshit.
Hey, if I could say it, because your mind is always intaking things.
Right.
Like as your mouth does, you eat. Well, whatever you perceive, the things that you hear, your mind is taking that in. It's perceiving it. So when you perceiving these false speeches, these people going off on a doctrine, your mind is intaking that. Right. That's why I said what it said in the second half.
It said,
as a palate tasted.
Yeah, as a palate tasted diverse kinds of venison, so doeth an heart of understanding false speeches.
Yeah, so that's how our minds are able to decipher what's right, what's wrong, because we are constantly seeing and perceiving it, You got it. I don't know.
I just wanted to make a point. Yeah, that's why the scriptures talk about your conscience being defiled, man. When you go into the word conscience, go to your perception of thought.
God.
So if your perception is all out of whack, digesting Esau's wisdom, you're going to be all off. You're going to be bugged out.
Get that Peter for me. Yeah, I got some. Go ahead.
It's Job 34 verse 3. For the ears try words, as the mouth tastes of meat.
The ear. One more time.
Job 34 verse 3. For the ears try words, as the mouth tastes of meat.
Yeah, the ear tries words just as the mouth tastes meat. All right, which correlates them both to doctrines in a sense. Okay, so whatever your ears hear, that's the same thing of you tasting, the food that's coming in. But the ears is basically analogy of your tasting what's going into your mind.
Right.
At the end of the day.
That's your receptor.
That's your receptor.
Yeah, if it tastes good or not.
Right. Gone. And if it's not, you got to spit it out.
Yep.
Spit it out. And understand that, they talk about the bones too, of things that, that you're just not able to digest. You can't, a bone cannot break down in your body. It's going to come out fully as it came in, and it's going to come out destroying a lot of things in your inward part, if you decide to swallow that bone down, But get that Peter for me, Brother Sean.
This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 2. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby.
Desiring the milk as newborn babes. All right, and that's real simple in of the scripture. That's the basics pretty much. All right, because it is basics of the scriptures of what you should know as a Israelite man. All right. And if you go deep into the parables, which that could go into the more heavier foods, the meatier foods, But again, you have to take your time with either or, all right? Because even as a newborn babe, though, you can see that if a baby drinks too much milk, what happens? the baby's going to throw it up, you know? So you have to be able to balance everything that you do, you know, even though it seems like it's something as light as basics and milk, still take your time with that, all right? You don't never want to, you know, just overexert yourself, you know, which is going to, you know, fuck you up.
I want to say something, if I could say it, because I got a precept right quick to back you up. But it's different portions for different people too.
Right.
Because some a more experienced brother might be able to take in, you might not be able to take that in, a younger brother.
Right.
But this Sirach 37 and I'm gonna start at 28. It says, "For all things are not profitable for all men. Neither has every soul pleasure in everything. Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into cola."
You know, you're just backing up what the brother was saying. You could put it in a literal sense that brothers is able to physically eat different things. All right, I could probably eat more than this brother. This brother probably can eat more than me. You know, and his body is okay. All right, but if I ever try to eat the same amount that this brother tried to do, that's gonna fuck me up. All right, or if I don't eat enough of that, I'm not gonna feel full at all. All right, but again, it's the Lord is gonna make these things simple unto us to be able to correlate these things together to simplify it. All right, if you could even go back to have this analogy to explain, all right, it could be a literal sense, but in the spiritual sense of understanding, yeah, brothers is going to intake different things at different types of levels, you know?
I want to say this too, an example, right? You might have a brother that can go and read through the book of Jasher, right? He can read through the book of Mormons, the Talmud, right? The Quran. But then, and I'm talking about a brother that got 10 plus years on him. Not no 5-year brother, not no, you know what I'm saying, an elder. These are different men that are well rooted, you know? And that goes into like that different food. Yeah. A certain type of food might affect you different than it do me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But
if I can say real quick, you want to make a point?
Yeah, I just want to back you saying when you first come in truth too, like you learn, like actually take some time to retain this wisdom and understanding. You know what I'm saying? If you back by brother, sir, if you watching 20 videos, you not really you gonna forget what you learned in the first 2 videos. You didn't retain that knowledge you learned from the first 2. Right. You basically crashing yourself out. You gotta take little days to get actually retain different breakdowns of scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Breakdowns of you gotta
because it came back around with that. And this the book of Ecclesiastes 7 and 16, and it says, "Be not righteous over much, right? Neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Be not over much wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time?"
The key word in that is over much. All right, you don't want to be over much of anything. All right, the Lord is about balance, so every way that you operate yourself needs to be with balance. All right, you're going to destroy yourself if you overdo, you know, these simple things. All right, but if you keep it simple, that's how you get you pass with flying colors, man. You know, you want to say something?
No, that's it. He got that in the GMS.
Yeah,
put that in the GMS.
Get that in the GMS, then we're gonna come down. Yeah, you got it. Come on.
Just get that. We'll come back to it.
Whatever you told me. Okay.
In the book of Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12, for when the time for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. Oh, yeah, not verse 13. Verse 13, for everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe.
So he's a babe. all right, with that milk, all right. That's how you're able to decipher, who is who, okay. And again, you have to be careful with that information that you're wielding, because again, if you come in as a newborn babe trying to seek your way through these beats, it's going to be above the pay grade. It's going to fuck you up, all right. Because I can tell you, a testimony of myself. I remember I heard the brothers were speaking about the book of Enoch, and I thought that, coming into the truth, not having no knowledge, I thought that, okay, this is the book that brothers say that we need to read. And the first moment that you get in there, you start to see giants, and they had the lust for women, and they came down, and
Buggery.
And I'm reading it, and I'm thinking in my head that this can't be true. Like, this seems like fake as hell. Like, what's going on? Something in the spirit, was on me of like, all right, something is wrong with this. I can't tell you exactly what's wrong with this, but I know that this is some crazy, seem like a fairy tale type shit. But then once you actually get the scriptures and you go into the meat of things and see, that none of these things operate this way, and it cannot operate this way. That's how what makes everything plain for you to have that understanding. For what you have.
Yeah, finish that out.
This is back in Hebrews chapter 5, verse 14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
Being able to discern good and evil. That's what comes with those meats. All right. That's why it's more complicated to digest. All right, because you have to go in there and see. Okay, this is edible. This is edible. This is not. All right. Whatever's not edible, throw that away. Okay, let me take my time with this. All right, break this down, and okay, now I can move on to the next. All right. If you don't have that skill set, the moment that it comes in you, you're not gonna know what to do. You're gonna pretty much choking off yourself.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's baby steps, right?
Yeah.
You coming in the truth, it's baby steps to getting the deep, dark parables, going into these different, I'm not going to even say it on the camera, these different things like we've been going into on the conference calls as of recent.
Right.
These things are deep, right? And to some brothers, it's like, oh, like I got this, it's simple.
Yeah.
But you talk to another brother, you're like, man, like I'm studying it, bro. I'm trying to get it. Why? Because those different meats, right? You might have a brother that's a year in, right? And a 1-year-old baby, they don't really eat tough meat, right? They gotta wait till they get some teeth in their mouth, man. That's why Peter used that analogy like that. It's fitting.
Right.
You got it.
Very fitting. And again, I think this might have been you, Kalaya, that we was talking about. It's crazy. The times that we in, that brothers have been in the truth, and I still lose track of that. 4-5 years, and knowing the milk scriptures that we had, and now we're going into these deep breakdowns on the calls that we do, and you're probably hurting at the beginning of like, all right, what's going on? What's going on?
God.
And then all of a sudden you see something and you be like, oh, that's a milk scripture.
Right.
What that milk do? Okay, all right, now I understand. So now this fits in the subcategory of this.
Right.
And just make it all plain and simple. All right. But it's not that you just sitting there trying to just decipher some crazy math equation or some shit, but you already have the answers to it. You just have to connect the dots of, when this took place, how it took place, and, move on with that,
I got something, but
Yeah, I wanted to say something, huh? Come on.
no, I got one.
Con, y'all got it. Y'all got it.
This is 2nd Ezra 8:4. So answered I and said, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding and devour wisdom.
Devour wisdom. Swallow, read that first part again, swallow down.
So I answered and said, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding and devour wisdom.
Con. All right. Again, equating, you know, devouring and eating, going back to the understanding. All right. The understanding of the knowledge that is being put in front of you. All right. And that's how we operate with these things. When we read these scriptures, you know, when we read, you know, these accounts that's going on, you know, we're spiritually eating. All right, we're spiritually eating and gaining an understanding of what happened aforetime. You know, what happened with the Lord. All right, what happened? Why did Israel split? Why did, you know, all of these things happen? Why? The answers are there, but you have to be able to open it and be able to eat these things, spiritually eat these things to get that understanding. You know,
It's at the bowl too.
Yep.
To the bowl, so we got to eat it entirely. You know, because at times we made, man, we say, hey, man, take wiggins with you, man.
right?
You know,
Yep.
we got to buy as much as we can. You know,
Yep.
until like, you know, like we eat something so much that taste buds in you. That's how the word is. The word's gonna be in us, man. So we're not gonna forget it. Not forget that taste.
You got me thinking about just the Passover in itself. You know, we eat in haste, you know, before it's time for us to get out and move on. All right. But that's the mindset, you know, just backing you up. The mindset that we have is that we know that we only have but a short time to receive a lot of information. You know, don't get it twisted. This is still a lot of information that we know that the elders and apostles that, you know, listen to their story, that they actually had to put in work to be in libraries.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I ever been in the library. All right, and that's just crazy of how far back these things go, of them putting in that legwork for us to just get on the internet and also have, you know, first and foremost elders and apostles, you know, within our camp to teach us these things, but being able to get to things quickly, you know, as we could.
Nah, and that's why the scriptures speak of the spirit quickening.
Yep.
You see, hey, it's like you said, it's so much shit that we have to. It's like not shit, but so many things, tokens we have to, not just take in, but utilize in day-to-day battles, man. All right, and that's why the scriptures also give us basically like guidelines unto attaining wisdom too. You know, because in Sirach 6, it tell you how to be a young man in the truth. You know, how to get the most out of your time.
Right.
You know, scriptures going to being available to be taught. You know, different things of that nature.
Yeah.
But
having the want to be taught, you know, if you put in your mindset that you know everything and you don't need this brother to teach you because you're older than him. You don't need none of this to happen because you already learned this before. You know, everything that we do is redundant. It's the same. It's a lot of the things that we do is over and over. You know, until we the Lord, you know, puts on the spirit that, all right, now we're going to go a little deeper. All right, but till then, you know, you can always sharpen up your sword even more. You know.
Yeah, we do eat something for a long time, you lose that taste bud. You got what it tastes like.
Right.
You know, so same thing with this word. Like, you got to constantly hear this word, man. Going to the milk. You know?
Yeah.
You forget it.
They had I want to see if I have it. They had a quote, basically with fishermen, what fishermen do, you know, while they're not at sea, while they're not working, or whatever, something like that. But basically, it tells you that if a fisherman is not at sea, he's on land prepping for himself to get back into the sea, to get back into the work. So he's fixing his nets, he's fixing, you know, his lines, his poles, and everything that he needs to go straight back out and execute. All right, it's never a day that you shouldn't be sharpening your sword, or sharpening your mind, you know, with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, it's always room for growth for us. Somebody,
I just wanted to add on to what you say real quick. I always talk about, you know, in this truth, you basically get time off. You don't get any days off.
right?
Yeah, you take your time for rest and what's needed. You know, it's sufficient for you. You don't take days off.
Y'all,
Like it's a job. I feel like it. I'm thinking out loud.
y'all was done over there.
I got a precept.
All right, we gonna go down. Get yours and then we gonna. You got something else, Daria? You got it.
I had two.
Go ahead. We're gonna get that wisdom solid in a minute.
Yeah, this 1 Corinthians 9 and 25. This says, and every man that strives for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. And I got that for that word temperate.
Yeah.
Because when you go into it, it says to be well, in the blue letter is G1467. It says to be self-controlled, all right, to exhibit self-government conduct, all right, and to contain. And basically that's how we gotta be when it comes down to these other foods. And you can liken that to what all these philosophies and doctrines and the way we study. We gotta be tempered. We gotta be disciplined in the way we study, because it could become too much for us. And it could make you crash.
Yeah.
All right.
Get that in Sirach 38, man. And I think it's 24.
I got it.
Oh, you on it already?
Yeah.
Oh, con.
This is Sirach 38 and 24. It says, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that have little business shall become wise.
He that have little business shall be wise. All right. So again, you're not placing yourself in situations where you don't have time. All right. It's a difference between not having time to do something. All right. And finding time to do it rather than putting yourself in a situation where you just don't want to do it. All right. I'm gonna go take me 3 shifts at the job. All right. Yeah, Jake, I understand you. Yeah, I'm already need a 24-hour shift.
Fuck it.
Instead of like, all right, Jake, you need some extra money? All right, yeah, I need to get some studying in, but I need, a little extra bread. Let me do a little bit more time over here, but still leave room for, the study and the things I need to do. It comes from the time of leisure, as you said.
Right, I wanted to add on to what you said because it's super spiritual. I was watching a video that the brother, I think his name is Amawa Gabar out of New York. He said, he basically was talking about, what we should be doing, during these times and things like that. And he said, to basically don't try to find time. You got to make time. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're trying to find time, you're putting basically the scriptures on a back burner, right, and trying to fit it into a schedule that's already packed full of things. Right. You got to make time to study, and you got to make time to serve the Lord, man.
Yeah, and we all know,
that's
the famous words of the brother Kaya out here, man. Everything that we do has to revolve around the truth. All right? So the truth is the rock. The truth is the foundation. Yahweh Shai is that rock. Yahweh Shai is that foundation. The word of Yahweh Shai. He's the word. He's the truth. So we do everything around this. God.
I was going to make a quick point, and it also requires sacrifice.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that we could sacrifice is our time.
Yeah.
We don't got much of that, and that's what we going. That's our reasonable service to the Lord. Right. Sacrificing our time. Y'all got it.
Yeah, no, I will say this too, because if you having a hard time juggling that, the Lord gonna make time for you. Right? 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna like the way the Lord do it. Right. He gonna take away family members, possessions, right? Different things that are getting in the way of his time.
Yeah, whatever's taking away his time, he gonna take it away.
Yeah. He gonna balance it out.
Yeah.
So it's easier just to use the wisdom that you do have to make room. Yeah.
Like you said, that usually comes with the Lord sitting your ass down. Now you can't move. Yep. Right? You had the opportunity to stop these things. All right. I gave you, your little toys. I gave you everything that you wanted to do. But yeah, I gave you this, but now you don't want this. All right, I'm about to take this away, and you about to sit down and do this now.
Yeah, the fact is brought up, and when the Lord sits your ass down, he really mean it. He gonna sit your ass down, bro. He gonna be able to take everything from you just you get to sit your ass down. Because Jake do too much.
Right.
Jake just do everything all about, but now serve the Lord. Right. When you sit your ass down, hey, just like that brother said, you not gonna like it.
Yeah, if the Lord rock with you though.
Yeah, right. That's right, brother.
Yeah. True. Yeah. It tell you that he chastises you as he does with sons. Yeah. All right. So if you receiving that chastisement, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but at least you have that understanding of knowing, like, all right, the Lord set me down. If you don't have that understanding that you know that the Lord sent you down, something wrong. All right. If you think that you just need to find you another opportunity or another route to get back to doing the bullshit that you was doing, all right, hey, the Lord might fuck around and let you go ahead and do that. And let you go back into the world and have your pleasures, of all the things that you want to do. All right? But knowing that that's going to be cutting you off, from the Lord, you're not going to be seen as a son no more. I got it.
I got it. Real quick to back you up. God damn. It's Psalm 60. Bring it out for me, brother. Psalm 65 and 6. Bible shot. God damn.
Nah, you get that.
Psalm
I'm
65
already
and
Oh, you already
6. This is the book of
5.
Psalms.
65 and 5. Bible, yeah.
This is the book of Psalm 65 and 5. By terrible things and righteousness wilt thou answer us. O God, our salvation. Who art thou? Who art the confidence of all the ends of the earth, and of them that are far off upon the sea.
Yeah, and Jake might not know that by terrible things and righteousness will the Lord answer men. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, like you said, you can't balance it. You can't do it. When the Lord do it for you, it's gonna be by terrible things and righteousness, man. Right? And it's gonna be well deserved. You know, you got it.
Because our spirit pray for things too. Right? So you might deliberately ask for, Lord, could you sharp me up on this, that, and the third, right? Lord, can I have more faith? Can I, do more things of that nature? And by a terrible way, the Lord, He will answer your prayer.
Yep.
You in turn, you most likely Jake don't get it right when the shit happens.
Exactly.
It be towards the end. It be like, damn,
Then you
he
understand.
did take my car away,
Yeah.
but I did ask for more faith.
Right.
So
Right.
I would say be careful what you pray for, but shit, you gonna learn a lesson either way it goes.
Yeah.
If it's needful for you.
Yeah.
Brother, that's just beautiful the way that you put it, because again, it's never gonna be easy with those situations.
Yeah.
Either it's gonna be easy. It's like either it's gonna be hard giving it up, or it's gonna be hard taking whatever the Lord is giving to you. But just that understanding right there, that's why that the faith in Yahweh Shah is pushed, so hard in this thing, man. But you need to have that faith. All right, because you know that if these things are happening to you, you have the faith to know that the Lord did this, and you know why, or possibly why that this is going down. Right. All right. Again, the brother said I might have prayed for it. All right, or it might be an obstacle that I need to go through. Something I need to go through so I could be able to explain to another brother when he goes through a situation like this. You never know how the Lord is going to do it, but He's doing it for a reason.
Really, He give you a chance to utilize it in a sense. Because Lord not going like He has to faith, or I just got faith all of a sudden.
Right.
It's not gonna happen that way. It's gonna happen when certain situation happen to you where you gotta use that.
Right.
Like you say, you got faith. Show me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you feel me? Hey, show me.
Yeah. He's definitely gonna put you in those situations. Like backing up the brother, that you got to exercise. What you're doing. All right. Because again, just you pretty much had to explain everything. But you want to say something?
I was gonna say like just to back it up, it requires action. Really.
Action, yeah.
It just requires action.
Yeah, that's what Jake was just gonna say, but I was gonna go in circles with it's action. It's an action. But brother explained it, perfect. But get that the other piece that you had. The edges. You still know the
Oh, okay. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 37. God. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 37, verse 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it.
Yep.
Verse 28. For all.
Read that part one more time.
Sirach, chapter 37, verse 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it.
And see what's evil for it. All right? Trust me and believe me that every brother, around us know what's profitable for us and what's not profitable. All right? We know the things that, hey, brother, if I start doing this, brother, my day is over with, because I'm going to be bugged out. All right? Brothers know that, all right, I got to do everything around this time, because once it hits this time, I'm not going to be doing nothing. All right? So they know exactly what they need to do,
I was just gonna say, you're with yourself 24/7, so you know what you got going on.
Right. If this type of Eve come over here and look like this, you know what I'm saying? It's over with. I know how I get when I'm around these type of women. All right. I know how I get, if it's, some type of yayan in my system. I know how all of these things are wanna play out, if I get to this level, But you have to be able to understand that, and then furthermore show the action of withstanding yourself, from the things that's going to just fuck you up at the end. You know?
Oh, I was just going to add on, like, it comes with self-examination as well.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah. Hold that on there. Finish it up.
Back in Sirach 37, verse 20. Back in Sirach chapter 37, verse 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. Verse 28. For all things are not profitable for all men.
Right.
Neither had every soul pleasure in everything.
Furthermore, backing up what I just said, it's not profitable for all men. Some brothers can handle themselves in different situations that that you just can't do it, and you just have to come to to the conclusion. All right, this is not good for me. All right, so like the brother about to bring it out, that's something that we have to examine ourselves daily. Get that?
13 and 5. 13 and 5. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. It says, examine yourself whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own self. Know ye not your own selves? How that Yahushua Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobate.
And it tells you, to examine thyself. All right, so like Michael Jackson said, start with the man in the mirror. That's where it all starts. All right, so you have to be able to conquer yourself and put yourself under subjection, before you can take any steps anywhere else. All right, but it starts within yourself, And it was some you said I wanted to make a point. Read it one more time, Brother Shaw. See if you come back.
Verse 5 again. 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. It says, examine yourself whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves? How that Yahushua Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobate.
It's not coming.
I got that word examine for you.
Yeah, go ahead. Cause it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't get it out. There's something I want to say.
Yeah, this on the word examine. And it's Strong's G3985 Parazzo. All right, and it says basically the test. All right, it says to try to make trial of, to test for the purpose of asserting his quality of what he thinks or how he will behave himself. To try one's faith, virtue, character by incitement to sin. Heavy.
Yeah, and Tawadi, how about you now? The thought came back. Pretty much how if you don't examine yourself and you don't think that you're doing nothing wrong, how can you grow? All right, you'll never be able to grow if you think that you're doing everything right, in which we know we're in these bodies that we can't do everything right. So you ain't doing nothing but deceiving yourself.
I got a little bit more in that.
Yeah.
In the Strong's definition, it says to scrutinize, to discipline, to examine, to go about, to prove, to tempt, to try.
Attempt to try, all right? Because we know again that this goes back into that old man, all right? You don't ever want that old man to run wild and loose, all right? Once you do that, you basically lost yourself, and you're going to be losing at the end of the day, by letting that man run rapid, that full of bullshit and folly that you probably used to do and put yourself within in the world, all right? You got to shut that shit at the door, and work on growing that spiritual,
I want to say too, like, that word examine, check the test. So basically, like, the way to examine yourself, you got to be put in a situation.
Right.
Rather, you got faith, you go put you in a situation where you don't have no choice but to believe in the Lord. Or even to a point where, hey, patience. You might ask for patience, man. The Lord will put you somewhere that it's going to vex you so much.
Yeah.
To see you have patience now. Are you patient enough, hey, man, to be calm in certain situations? You know what I'm saying? To deal with it. Yeah, that's how we examine ourselves, see are we fulfilling the attributes of the man of God.
Right. Yeah. And again, that word action is got to come up again, because we're dealing with a power that's all about action. All right, you can't just give the Lord lip service and think that everything is gonna be okay. All right, and expect to only hear these things that you pray for, that you want. It's going to be some type of action behind it, whether it's if the Lord puts you in a situation that you failed that many times, all right, and you've been praying to get over that situation. It's not like the Lord is going to just make you forget it. He's going to put you back in that same boat, probably around the same people, and to see how you're going to operate this time. All right, are you going to exercise the things that you've learned so far, or are you going to fall back into the same temptation that you fell before? All right, now I want to see how you're going to operate, when it's full, it's game time.
Yeah, if I could add, because in order to be a follower of Yahushua, to be a disciple, really, y'all brothers know what's the root word of disciple?
Discipline.
Discipline, man. In order to be a disciple, to follow Yahushua, you gotta exercise discipline. You know, you gotta do.
Yeah, plain and simple. Discipline. It's a requirement. Got this one real quick.
That's a part of that self-examination, though.
Yep.
Disciplining yourself.
It says that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you got it. It's that word action. I had looked it up in the AI overview. It says action refers to a deed, act, or process of doing something, especially to address a problem or difficulty.
Smoke. To address a problem or a difficulty. You know, and that's everything. That's our entire walk, man. This entire walk that we're doing is full of obstacles and shit that we got to get over. And you're not going to get over that obstacle without, exercising, action towards it. You can't just have an obstacle in your face and just say that, okay, I just want this to be over with and it's going to be over with. No, you got to get through it. All right, some way, somehow, you got to get through it. That's part of carrying your cross. All right, carrying your cross, carrying the things that you got to do, throughout your life. All right, again, that's another requirement of being a disciple, being a follower of Yahweh Shemi Shai. Brother, you get that? Stop quoting. Carry a cross. Imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, because we got to stand in this world. The only way to get through is to go through it. So you can't, if you facing obstacles and different tests, if you just go and fall back, you ain't go get nowhere. Right? So Lord put you through certain straits, difficult things. At the end of the day, when you get through it, it just make you a better disciple of Yahweh Shemi Shai. You know what I'm saying? Knowing and you learn, which you basically what you're capable of too. The Lord put it in front of you.
And ultimately, too, dealing with the Lord, if you're going to run away from something, He's not going to take it away from you. He's just going to pile it on into the next thing that you have to deal with. All right. So now, instead of having this one thing that you just had to take on, now it's two things. Or you ran away from two things, now it's three things, and it's going to be more and more. So now you just completely just lose yourself out because you got a lot on your plate of things that you just can't handle. All right. So everything that we do has got to be step by step. It's got to be in order. All right. It's got to be handled, in a balanced manner, to get through it. But one thing that we can't do is drop our cross and basically just tap out and say that, hey man, I don't want to deal with this no more. All right. Then you're going to be unfit to be a servant of Yahweh Shemi Shai. Be unfit to get that crown, at the end. All right. You're not going to be worthy of any of these things.
Yeah, I just wanted to make this point because you'll have a certain problem or something that a brother is going through. Hey, and the Lord will give you time to try to figure that out. But then he'll, like you say, he'll stack something else on you. But it'll take, it might be a year, a week, a month, but he'll revisit, right, that same thing that you tried to avoid, after the course of time. Just to show you, like, look, I built you up here just so you could fight that one fight that you've been avoiding all this long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He gives you the tools.
Yep.
Yeah, it's basically like different levels: easy, medium, and hard.
Right.
As you ever played a video game, you know what I'm saying? Like, it go easy way, be able to get away with, you know what I'm saying? Easily.
Yep.
There's a medium where it's like, damn, it's difficult, but I'm able to get through it. And then it's like the hard part, where, dang, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, Jared.
This is Matthew 16 and verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto the disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
Deny yourself and take up your cross and follow Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, that's how you become a follower of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, knowing that all of these things that is going to be some type of resistance, pain, you know, that you have to do. You know, whether it's within your family members, whether it's within, you know, just things in this world. All right, we're going to be tempted in plague with something. You know, sicknesses. You know, plagued with I can't in the examples. Different ailments. Yeah.
Afflictions.
You know, all of these different things. You know, and you just got to be able to push through it. You know, and carry your cross, carry that burden, and you know, do what is pleasing to Yahweh Shai. You know.
Yeah, just one more verse. Yep. Verse 25, it says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
So if you lose your life for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you want to gain so much at the end of it. All right? And then that doesn't mean to take your life. You know, it means to forsake, you know, all of the things that you deemed important at once upon a time in your life, because literally it's not important. All right? Humbling yourself down to do everything in the scriptures, you know, pleasing to the Lord to the best of your ability, you know, that's how you're going to pretty much lose your life in this world. All right. But if you try to save your life and try to be that renowned man, you know, in America, you know, searching for all of these glories just to be seen of men, all right, you're going to lose your life at the end of the day.
Right, and what does the scripture say? It said basically strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. You know, so we're coming into that trying time where the people, everybody's going to be presented a choice. Right, the people that want to save their life, they're going to take the MOTB. They ain't going to have a choice. You know what I'm saying? There'll be certain men, you know, within the doctrine, right? You know, Yahweh Shema Shah, that's going to lose their life, but gain life, eternal life at the end. You know.
Got some?
Nah, I kind of fell.
Y'all get that from Matthew? Y'all good down here?
I got some.
Get this real quick and then
This is book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Let Yahushua enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat.
So enter ye at the straight gate. All right, this is going to be the path that is going to be, you know, complicated. All right, it's going to be complicated, and it's going to be something that you really have to focus on to make it through that path. All right, but it's going to lead into righteousness. It's going to lead to everlasting life, everlasting peace. You know, glory is going to be at the end of that road. But what it says about the broad?
And broad, verse 13, back in Matthew 7 and verse 13, broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat.
So it's going to be many people who, again, that we saying, they're going to choose to go this broad way because it's easy. There's no resistance. It's something that is pleasurable to have, you know, all of this space and opportunity to bullshit. All right? But where it's going to lead to you? It's going to lead to your destruction. All right? So that's why, you know, you can't run away from the pain, man. All right? The Lord is going to require it some way, somehow, man. All right? Either you're going to willingly give him your time and effort, or, you know, he's going to destroy you at the end of the day, man. You know, plain and simple.
Go ahead. Verse 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and there be few that find it.
There'll be few that find it, man. All right? So that's why we pray that we're of that number, you know, to be able to, you know, remain on this path, you know, because we believe 144%, you know, and the doctrines brought down from, you know, through the Spirit, you know, given on to our elders and apostles, that this is the way, man. This is the way, and this is our opportunity for life everlasting. All right, but you guys know it. Still on. Is that?
I got something real quick. Good. Basically, you know, we talk about entering year at the straight gate. You know what I'm saying? That position of difficulty, trying to get to the kingdom of heaven.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go kind of straight to the point. This is Second Ezra 7 and verse 6. It says, "There is also another thing: a city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things." Verse 7, it says, "The entrance thereof is narrow." The same thing as the straight gate that we talked about in Matthew the 7th chapter. "And is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water." At verse 8, and it says, "And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once." So just like we were saying earlier, man, you know, we enter into the time where we're going to be put through the trials, the tribulations, right, the difficulty, you know, trying to persevere, endure what, man? The road to the kingdom of heaven, right? We basically are those traveling men, right, trying to go on what? The highway, basically the highway, right? The scriptures talk about that, which is basically the highway to what? Heaven, man.
Yeah.
You know? And on that highway, we're going to come across all kinds of different stuff, man. But the point is to keep moving forward, man.
Right. And the analogy that it gives you the positions of difficulty on the right and the left hand side. So you don't want to fall on that side, all right? And we know that turning back is not an option. So we know from, you know, by default, it's to move forward. It's to, you know, take your lick, man, and just walk the path as best as you could, all right? And that's the most motivated, because that's the one that has the rewards at the end of it, you know, to do that, all right?
I got another piece.
Y'all better.
Yeah, I got one.
You go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The back, this brother up talking about that difficulty going on that path. This Matthew chapter 24, verse 13. It reads, "But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." So on this difficulty, this difficult path, this road we walk on, we gotta persevere, stay strong, have that faith. You know what I'm saying? So we already know what lies ahead. We already know the road. We finna head into a time where we never seen before. The hardest time we ever faced as young men serving Yahweh Shai is coming. Jacob's trouble, the hour of piercing, martial law. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know if we keep that faith, persevere, the Lord say, "He that endures it shall be saved." You got it. That's all I want to say.
This is the book of Sirach 2, verse 1. "My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, and set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble." Come on, just showing that even during affliction, you just got to sit there and take it, as the brother already said.
Yeah.
Because the Lord is with you, so there's no point in even worrying.
All right.
You got it out.
Get that second Timothy. Get the second Timothy.
Yeah. Second Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahushai." Verse 4. "No man that warred entangled himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier."
So again, we talked about the two positions of difficulty. All right, as a soldier, you know, you understand the conditions of the battle. All right, so you understand that first and foremost, us having, you know, our power, you know, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know, that we can endure these things. All right, but again, the Lord called us to be a soldier, you know, to be able to go through these things and complete the mission. All right, so that's the mindset that we need to have and maintain, walking this straight and narrow path, man. That the goal is to complete the mission, keep moving forward. All right, keep your hands on the plow. You know, whether you know you're hurting, that's not an excuse, because everybody's hurting. All right, but knowing that you have an opportunity of a lifetime, man, to build and, you know, do something that has never been done before. All right, and be a part of greatness, you know. But you can get the quote.
I just had a quick quote backing up, you know, everything that brother's been saying. It's a quote by Dean Carnegie, how you say it? Sometimes you got to go through hell to get to heaven.
Sometimes you have to go through hell to get to heaven. All right, which we're going through right now. We're going through these hellish conditions right now to reach the heaven condition.
That's right.
When Israel is back at top, when we're at one with our power, when we are no longer, surrounded by sin. All right. And I heard the brother Ra'ai and the elder, they did a video a little while back, probably a couple of days ago, that, you know, we are in a society right now that we don't know what it feels like to not sin. All right, that sin is something so normal that can't really even fathom your mind. How is it going to be, you know, not to sin? You know,
Right.
Dwell in the world of righteousness. Yeah, brother. Like that's just a crazy thought process, but it's going to happen. You know, and we believe, you know, that it is going to happen. You know, but you still got your precept. How you looking? What's up?
You had something?
Oh, it's like
It's the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12. It says, "Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
Yep.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord had promised to them that love him."
You want to say something?
Gone. Nah, that's just backing up that point of what brother's been saying, like us going through those temptations in order to win the kingdom. You got it.
Yeah. So blessed ye that receive, you know, that you're going to receive all of these things, you know, by enduring, man. You know, which is another requirement of being a disciple of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But any brothers ain't got nothing else, we're going ahead and end this live camp by giving all praises and honors to
Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Kakadash.
the belongings to the elders and apostles of GMS who taught us the truth. Peace and salutations to the hopefully elect. You Akim, you Akwat, to you brothers and sisters in the Hebrew that believe. In the Bible Ball.
Bible Ball.
Bible Ball.
Bible Ball.
Bible Ball.
Bible Ball.
Kwame Asherah.
Kwame Asherah.
Shalom.
Shalom.